Jerata Matovo Kunja Bihari Rata Matovo Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. It's like I just leave it. Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandano Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari Jayorata Motovo Kunja Bihari Jayorata Motovo Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Hey Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari Jamuna Tirtha Vanachari Jayorata Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paragrajikacharya Ashtotala Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Rantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Jai Nitai Go Premanandi All glories is simple devotees All glories is simple devotees All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 23, chapter entitled, The Demigods Regain the Heavenly Planets. Text number 3. Shishukovacha Ityukta Harim Anantya Brahmanam Sabhavam Tataha Vivesha Sutalam Prito Balir Mukta Sahanurai Shishukovacha Ityuktva Harim Anatya Brahmanam Sabhavam Tataha Vivesha Sutalam Prito Balir Mukta Sahasurai Shishukovacha Ityukta Harim Anantya Pramanam Sabhavam Tataha Vivesha Sutalam Prito Balir Mukta Hurai. Indra to into the right planets. Mataji's. Shishukovacha. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Iti Uktwa, saying this, Harim, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hari. Anacha, offering obeisances. Brahmanam unto Lord Brahma. Sabhavam with Lord Shiva. Tataha thereafter. Vivesha he entered. Sutalam the planet Sutala. Pritaha being fully satisfied. Bali Maharaj. Mukta thus released. Saha Asurai with his Asura associates. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukadev Goswami continued, after speaking in this way, Bali Maharaj offered his obeisances first to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and then to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Thus he was released from the bondage of the Naga, Pasha, the ropes of Varuna, and in full satisfaction he entered the planet known as Sutala. Translation responsively. Shukadev Goswami continued, after speaking in this way, Bali Maharaj offered his obeisances first to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and then to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Thus he was released from the bondage of the Naga Pasha, the ropes of Varuna, and in full satisfaction he entered the planet known as Sutala. Text number 4. Thus having delivered the proprietorship of the heavenly planets to Indra, and having fulfilled the desires of Aditi, the mother of the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead ruled the affairs of the universe. When Prahlad Maharaj heard how Bali Maharaj, his grandson and descendant, had been released from the bondage and had achieved the benediction of the Lord, he spoke as follows in a tone of greatly ecstatic devotion. Prahlad Maharaj said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are universally worshipped. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva worship your lotus feet. Yet although you are such a great personality, you have kindly promised to protect us, the demons. I think that such kindness has never been achieved even by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. What to speak of the other demigods or common people? Purport. The word Durga, Pala, is significant. The word Durga means that which does not go very easily. Generally, Durga refers to a fort which one cannot very easily enter. Another meaning of Durga is difficulty. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead promised to protect Bali Maharaj and his associates from all dangers, he is addressed here as Durga Pala, the Lord who gives protection from all miserable conditions. Om Gyan Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmulitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're almost at the end of Canto 8 of Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada says in the introduction of Bhagavatam, he says that one has to categorically or systematically study the whole Bhagavatam. It's systematic. Prabhupada said you can pick up any book. The Bhagavatam is there, or Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gita, Nectar of Devotion, all of his books. You can pick up any book, and wherever you read, you will find sweetness. Prabhupada says just like you pick up an apple, you can bite it on that side or you can bite it on the other side. It will be sweet if the apple is sweet. So you can read his books, any book, and you'll find sweetness. But Prabhupada said, at some point in our devotional service, we have to study it systematically. You have to study it categorically because it's a systematic study. Parikshit Maharaj only had 7 days to live. He was told, 7 days left. So you can imagine, you're told, only 7 days left. So what is the best thing to do? He thought, I'll hear Bhagavatam. I'll just sit and I'll listen to Bhagavatam. So, because it was the end of his life, he could have just listened to Krishna Lila. He could have just listened to Krishna. It could have just been 10th canto. There's many things that could have been said in the 10th canto, but he listened to the whole Bhagavatam because there is a systematic purpose to it. And for the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga, we're meant to study it systematically. We don't just go just to 10th canto, because 10th canto, Prabhupada says in the introduction to the Bhagavatam, if you study the first 9 cantos systematically, categorically, if you go through he said, by the end of the 9th canto, you will be a God-realized soul. Then when you read Krishna book, when you read 10th canto, you will understand Krishna as the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You won't see his pastimes as mundane. It's interesting actually because when Shukadev spoke to the sages of Naimisharanya, so you can imagine the sages of Naimisharanya, they must have been a very august assembly. They must have been a very elevated group. They're all sitting there listening to, Sutta Goswami. Shukadev was speaking to Parikshit. So when Sutta spoke to the sages of Naimisharanya, he noticed when he got to the 10th canto and he began to speak about Krishna's Leela with the gopis, some of the sages were smirking. In other words, they were not understanding it from a transcendental platform. So even some of the sages at Naimisharanya were not fully qualified to hear. That's why in the 10th canto, the pastimes with the gopis, they're not spoken in extensive detail. I mean, they're spoken. The Rasa Panchajaya is there. You have the 5 chapters of the Rasa Leela, and Venu Gita is there. There's different things there with the gopis. But actually not as much as there could be, because people have to be qualified to hear these things. Therefore, Prabhupada says, study the first 9 cantos systematically, then you will be a God-realized soul, and then you can understand the 10th canto properly. Right? So Prabhupada actually says, as long as you're attached to illicit sex, you should not go beyond canto 1 and 2, which is said to be the lotus feet of the Lord. So just stay there. There's enough there. Prabhupada actually said, everything is in canto 1, chapter 1, verse 1, in his purport. Right? Prabhupada's purport for the first verse, 111, it's one of his longest purports. There's 14 paragraphs. There's a lot in there. Prabhupada said everything is in there, so you can just study that. And his Guru Maharaj, whose disappearance day it is today, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is it appearance or disappearance? Appearance? Okay, appearance day, because the disappearance day is it's at the end of December. So it's appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj. So it is said that one time he spoke on canto 1, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1, for 3 months. Because everyone wanted to hear Rasa Leela. He said, no. First you understand this. You don't even understand you're not your body. Hands up if you understand you're not your body. I mean, we understand it theoretically. Like, whenever you ask someone, are you a spirit? Are you the body? No, I'm not the body, I'm the spirit soul. But then some Mataji walks past and you're like that. Oh, it's so advanced. So advanced. So you say, I'm not the body, but we don't act like that. The thoughts are not like that. The subtle body is not yet purified. Sometimes in the dreams, we dream all sorts of things. I know sometimes in my dreams, I wake up and I think, oh my God, this is like not even Krishna conscious. Some of the things that come into my dreams. I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me. Sometimes I wake up and I think, I'm supposed to be a devotee, right? Just some material things are going through my subtle body. So it takes time to become purified. It takes time to elevate out of the conditioned, the niccabada, the conditioned state of life. So that's why we have to study the Bhagavatam systematically, categorically. That's why we're studying the 8th canto. We don't go straight to the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, but we study it very systematically. And there are many lessons as we go through the different cantos. So here we're hearing about Bali Maharaj. This is a famous pastime, very well-known pastime. So where does Bali Maharaj live? Where does he live? So, and where is that? Which planet? Because you see all the planets at night time? Which one is it? Which one is Bali Maharaj's planet? You can't see it in southern hemisphere. If you want to see it, you have to go to the northern hemisphere. It's called the pole star or the north star. Right? It's fixed. And it doesn't move, just like the Earth. We are geocentric. Right? There's two ways of understanding this universe, heliocentric or geocentric. Right? Heliocentric means the sun, this is what the science teaches us, the sun is polarized, it is sitting in one place, and all the planets are going around. Right? And then geocentric, which is what the Bhagavatam speaks, is the Earth is sitting in one place, and all the other planets are going around it, right? Including the sun. And Einstein, who is the most famous scientist, he says it doesn't matter actually which way you calculate it. He said everything still works the same. But the Bhagavatam specifically says the Earth is the fixed point. And also the pole star, the North Star, which we don't see here, but if you go to North India, then you look up, you will see it, right, in the northern hemisphere. So that's also fixed. That's why it doesn't move. It's interesting. All the other stars, they change position. You don't see the stars as much here in the city, but if you come to the farm, you will see the stars. There's a lot of stars at night. And you'll see over the course of the year, the Milky Way kind of shifts. It goes like this. It moves. Everything's moving in the sky. But the pole star just sits in one spot. It doesn't move all year. It's a fixed place. That's where Bali Maharaj lives. And Prahlad Maharaj lives there too. Would you like to meet Prahlad Maharaj? You'd like to meet Bali Maharaj? It'd be very nice. So if you go there to that star, you can meet them. They are there. And Vamanadev is there too. Lord Vamanadev is still there. He's living with Indra. He's in Indraloka. Yeah, he's a different planet. That's Indraloka. But they're all still here in the universe. They're looking down on us now. And they're looking down, they think, oh, the devotees are speaking about this lila, which took place millions of years ago. And some of them are falling asleep, right, in this lila, which took place. If you fall asleep in Bhagavatam class, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you, right? On one level. Actually, Nidra Devi, you know Nidra Devi? Who is she? The goddess of sleep, right? Everyone knows her very well. Nidra Devi, right? She once came to the Lord, and she said to the Lord, I can't affect your devotees. Your devotees are beyond Nidra. I can't affect them. Please give me some way that I can affect them. And the Lord said, okay. He said, you can influence them during the Bhagavatam class. So that's why you see sometimes when Bhagavatam class starts. It says sometimes devotees have insomnia. What is insomnia? It means you can't sleep. And sometimes we joke, what is the cure for insomnia? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You see, sometimes you give class and devotees go. I've had it. Sometimes I'm giving class and devotees looking at you and they go. Right. So it's not a good idea to do it in front of me, because I usually stop the class and say, Prabhu, wake up. Most devotees are too polite to say anything, but I don't know what to say. I say, Prabhu, if you're tired, that's okay if you're tired, but go and take a rest. Because Rupa Goswami says in Nectar Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is aparad to take rest in the temple. You know, you're in front of Krishna. You can't go to sleep in front of Krishna. Well, this is Krishna's temple. What do you think happens in the spiritual world? Everyone just sees Krishna and they go, take rest? No. They're enlivened to see Krishna. You're in front of Krishna, you can't fall asleep. You know, if you're so tired, you know, like Prabhu's, they stayed up till 2 o'clock, not last night, night before, cleaning up the Rath Yatra site. It's okay, they're tired, that's okay. So if they come to class, they fall asleep. Don't come to class. If you're so tired, go and take a rest. That's okay, no problem. But when you're in the temple, no, you cannot fall asleep. Also when you're chanting japa, right? It's an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Huh? Are you attentive or inattentive when you're sleeping in your japa? You see devotees, sometimes you're chanting in the temple room, you see some devotees like, how do you say? It's good that we chant in the temple because the non-devotees saw us. They think we're like crazy sometimes. One time years ago, many years ago, I was doing travelling Sankirtan. So I was in Gippsland, you know, down that way. And I was staying in a caravan park in, I think it was Morwell or Moe or somewhere down there, doing book distribution. So in the morning, I had one Bhakta with me. His name was Bhakta Craig. And I used to tell the devotees, you know, don't chant japa in public. Sometimes devotees chant japa in public. It looks very strange for the non-devotees. One time, Aniruddha Prabhu, myself, and Atul Krishna Prabhu were flying to India. And Atul Krishna Prabhu, we were brahmacharis. It was 1994, and we were brahmacharis, so we were very fired up, very enthusiastic. And Aniruddha Prabhu and I are sitting, and Atul Krishna Prabhu was sitting like 2 rows away, and there's no one in the room, sitting by himself. And he's sitting on the, and he, you know, lifted up, he's sitting on the seat, he sat up, sorry, sitting cross-legged, and he put like eye patches on, and he put earplugs in, and he's chanting japa because he didn't want to be distracted. So he's in the plane, in the middle of the plane, going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. And Aniruddha Prabhu turned to me and he said, go and tell Atul to be merciful to us. So I went and I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, please don't do this in the middle of the plane because, you know, people think we're mad. Like, you know, the non-devotee doesn't understand. So, you know, just some guy going like they think we're crazy people, you know. It's not good preaching. Another time I was in Sydney and I was a new devotee. It was 1991, I think. I was a new devotee. I was chanting japa the temple was in King's Cross in North Sydney. And the brahmachari ashram was next to a cafe. So I was walking up and down in front of the cafe chanting japa, waiting for devotees to come so we could go out and Sankirtan. So I'm just walking up and down like, you know, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, just walking up and down. And one senior devotee came around the corner and he said, what are you doing? All the people in the cafe are just seeing some guy like going like walking up and down like this. It doesn't make sense for the non-devotee. The best one of all time, I'll tell you, this is the best one. You know Gopals? Gopals, right? So if you go on the roof, have you been on the roof? Right. There used to be a shower on the roof. So we used to go on Sankirtan, come back on Friday night, go up on the roof, take shower, take bath, go in there o'clock, then we go on Harinam. So one time, there's on the roof, there's like a ledge on the side, like it's about that high, like a ledge, about that wide. And on the side's like a drops about 3 stories. I don't know if it's still like that, but I think, it's like. So I was waiting for the other devotees to come for Harinam, so I got on the ledge, because I thought if I chant on the ledge walking up and down, then I can't be distracted, because if I look either way, I'll fall off the ledge, I'll fall like 3 stories. So anyway, I'm just chanting, Hare Krishna, and just going up and down, up and down. And then next minute, after about half an hour, a policeman was on the roof. He said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I looked at him. I said, "I'm meditating." He said, "Get down." So I got down, and he said, "Why are you doing it like that?" And I said, "Oh, I don't want to be distracted." So I'm like, And he said, "Look over the edge." So I looked over the edge down on Swanston Street. There's 50 people, because everyone's looking up thinking the guy's talking to himself, he's going to jump. He's walking back and forth. He's talking to himself, like talking to himself to talk himself out of jumping off the edge, So it wasn't very good preaching. People think devotees are crazy. So anyway, I was down in Morwell at the caravan park in the morning, and one Bhakta Craig, if you want to chant japa as a devotee, like chant here in the temple room or chant somewhere quiet or something. But he was walking around 7 o'clock in the morning in between all the caravans chanting japa. Right, so he's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, walking around. So some people live in the caravan park. They live there full time. And then I was in the caravan, and then I hear a knock on the door, and I open the door, and the caravan park manager was there. He said, "Your friend's walking around, like in between talking to himself." And he said, "The people who live here are scared to come out because they have to take their kids to school, because they think this guy's talking to him, so he's going to attack someone or something." So you have to be conscientious, as devotees. So the point is that we have to not fall asleep while chanting japa. Right? We have to be conscious while chanting japa. We also have to be conscious of the outside world as well. Right? So chanting japa is a very internal thing. But you have to be attentive while chanting. Right? If you fall asleep while chanting, you don't get benefit. So that's why when you chant, make sure you're awake. Right? Because if you're falling asleep, nodding off, go and take rest and then chant your japa properly. You have to chant your japa when you have good consciousness, when you're awake and you can focus like that. So it says that Nidra Devi, she attacks the devotees while Bhagavatam class is going on. But no one is falling asleep today, which is very good. Actually, if devotees are falling asleep, it's the devotees' responsibility to stay awake, but it's also the speaker, it's their responsibility to keep everyone awake. Right? So you have to make the class interesting. Otherwise, devotees fall asleep. Like Satchidananda Swami, he's my Shiksha Guru. I was in Govardhan, I had a retreat with Satchidananda Swami and Burujam Prabhu in November. You were there too? Yeah, Zach. Me and Zach, we were there. And Satchidananda Swami said, "Some of the classes in ISKCON are very boring." Yeah, he's a guru in ISKCON. He said, "Some of the classes are very boring." So it's our responsibility, if you're giving class, make sure it's interesting for the devotees. Keep them captivated. Keep everyone awake, so that they can get the benefit, right? So that is our responsibility. So if you have to prepare nicely. Make some preparation. Make a good class. It's a service to the devotees. And also, if you're in class, don't fall asleep. Like, if I'm in class, I never fall asleep, because I know what it's like to give class. I know what it's like to have someone fall asleep in class. It's not very inspiring. So I don't do that to other devotees. So it's like a respectful exchange between devotees. Don't fall asleep. So, the Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj only had 7 days to live. So Bhagavatam was spoken categorically. So now we're hearing about Bali Maharaj, right? It's a very famous pastime, it's a very nice pastime. And we should study these pastimes very carefully. It says in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj hundreds of times from Gadadhar Pandit. Right? We have to hear these pastimes again. That's why we just do one verse a day or a few verses a day, because we're studying it very carefully. So that we can absorb all of this, purify our consciousness, so eventually we'll get to the 10th canto. I mean, we'll get to the 10th canto this year, I think, because 9th canto is not so, there's not a lot of purport in the 9th canto. We might even get there this year or next year. So we'll be in the 10th canto, right? So this is the summum bonum, the ashraya. This is what we're aiming for. But you have to be qualified to hear it, because the 10th canto is Krishna's pastimes. So Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami did not go straight to the 10th canto. He spoke all of this categorically so we can become purified. Right? That's why we have to study it carefully. So now we're hearing about how Bali Maharaj went to live on the pole star, which they call Sutala. Sometimes it's said it is a spiritual planet. Right? It is actually not destroyed like the other planets during the pralaya, right? But it's a spiritual planet. So this is very powerful, this place where they live. So Dhruva Maharaj is living there. Bali Maharaj, he is living, right? These great Prahlad Maharaj is living on these places. They're very powerful places. So then it is said that this pastime, what is the main thing that we are trying to understand from this Leela, or this pastime of Bali Maharaj? Right? Because there are 9 angas of bhakti, which Prahlad Maharaj gives us in the 7th canto, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedanam. So these 9 are there. So each of the angas has a particular devotee who personifies that particular item. He teaches us how to perform that item properly. So when it comes to Bali Maharaj, what does he teach us? Atmanivedanam, right? You have to give everything to Krishna. Hands up if you're willing to give everything to Krishna. That's good. It's good that you put your hand up. Now Krishna's going to test you. Because you just put your hand up in front of Krishna. He's going to test you. Because your sentiment is sincere. You're all sincere devotees. But Krishna is now going to say, how sincere are you? You are sincere, and Krishna is very pleased, but now you just said, I'll give everything. He's going to say, really? Everything? And you say, yes, everything. He says, okay, let's see. So now the test will come. When I was 24, I was young, I was brahmachari, wearing saffron, like you guys. I was happy. It was a long time ago, like that. I haven't been happy since, but then I was very happy. And I was 24 years old, and I was flying to Africa from here. We were going to collect money to give to Radha Vallabha. We used to travel around the world and sell things to make money to... Now we don't have to do that. The brahmacharis don't, but we had to do that in the 90s. So I was traveling with Tridesh Prabhu, Atal Krishna Prabhu, and Bhaktapita. We're flying to... So we stopped on the way to Africa. We stopped in Brindavan. And I went to see my Shiksha Guru, Burijan Prabhu, because I was flying through Brindavan, so I went to see him. And I had darshan with him. And I was sitting with him, and we were talking, and then he said to me, Krishna will take everything away from you. And I was 24, I was a brahmachari, and I was just smiling at him. You know. And he said, he hasn't done it to you yet. He hasn't taken everything from you yet. It hasn't come yet, that time hasn't come. Because I was just 24, I hadn't experienced much in life, and Krishna hadn't really But then a few years later, it started to happen. Then Krishna really begins to take everything from you. Then when I was 27 or 28, they sent me to Adelaide to become the temple president of Adelaide. And it was a struggling temple. There was a number of devotees there, they all left. And then they sent myself, and I got married to Veda Priya, my first wife. And we were sent there, and we had to run a whole temple. We had deities, Radha Shama Sundar, and we had to run the temple for 2.5 years. And it was a big test, because I had to collect nearly all the money, to keep the temple going. And there wasn't many devotees there, and we had to maintain the deity worship. Dhriti Gopi, Ajita Prabhu's wife, she was here for the Ratha Yatra. Yeah, she came to be the pujari. She was doing puja 7 days a week. Just every day. That's all she was doing, just worshiping the deities, morning to night, morning to night, morning to night. I was going out collecting for the temple and giving classes and, managing the temple and doing all these things. And then when I got back after 2.5 years there, and I got back, and then Burujam Prabhu saw me again, and then he understood, okay, now you're understanding something now, that Krishna will take everything from you. Because I understood it was not my ability to do these things. Because when you are young, you think, I can do anything. I am powerful, I am strong. Siddhoham, Balavan, Sukhi, I am powerful. But then Krishna humbles you. Actually, you're not so powerful. And even though you think that you are very powerful, all of your strength and energy comes from me. So Krishna humbled me. He made me understand that actually I can't do all these things by myself. It was very difficult, very challenging time. So you have to go through these things. So that is called Atmanivedanam. Take everything. So Krishna will take everything from all of us in due course of time. And if it hasn't happened to you, you just wait. You just wait, and it will come. Krishna will take everything. One time I was in Sydney in 2000, I think it was 2000, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj came. He was traveling through Australia, so I traveled with him from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. And he was giving class, and he was in Sydney, and His Holiness Indra Swami was there. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave class, and at the end of the class, Indra Swami put his hand up. And he said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said, Maharaj, is it possible to go back to Godhead without great suffering? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, no, that's not possible. You have to go through great suffering to go back to Godhead. And you see Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he had cancer and he went through a lot of suffering. Indra Swami, you just read his diaries. Maharaj has been through so much. Even now he's just had some surgeries and some problems and things like that. So many tests are there. So Atma Nivedanam, that's why we read these pastimes, because you have to be willing to give everything to Krishna. Even when Krishna is taking everything from you, in your heart, you pray, as Lord Brahma teaches us in the 10th canto, you pray, now Daya Bhak, right? You pray to Krishna, I am your servant, right? I will continue to serve you, even though everything is being taken away from me now, right? Everything will be taken away, right? But still I will serve you. And then you become Daya Bhak. Daya Bhak means you become the rightful heir to go back to Godhead. So Krishna will test us. Are you going to stay with me and keep serving me, even though I'm taking everything away from you materially? Jamma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribhya, right? No. Prabhupada says in that purport, in Queen Kunti's teachings, he said there's a quality to our chanting. How do we chant? Right? Do we chant with devotion to Krishna? Are we grateful to Krishna? Do we thank Krishna when he takes things away? That's when you know you're advancing Krishna consciousness. Krishna takes everything away and you say, Krishna, thank you. You're very merciful to me. Let me keep serving you. Right? If you can say that in your heart, then you're qualified to go back to Godhead. But if you say to Krishna, why are you doing this to me? Just be easy on me. Just take it easy. Sometimes I pray like that to Lord Nrsingadev. When you go to Lord Nrsingadev, you pray, take everything away. Have you ever said that to Lord Nrsingadev? Please take everything away. Be very careful about saying that. Because if you're going to say that to Nisringada, you have to really mean it. Because if he starts taking everything away, because sometimes I've prayed like that to Lord Nisringada, please take everything away. And when he starts doing it, I say to him, not so fast. Please just do it softly, do it slow. But Nisringada might want to do it a different way. He might just say, no, we're taking everything right now. Just like that. So you have to be conscious that if you're going to pray to the Lord, then you have to be very sincere. When he starts taking everything away. Jamma means like your position in society. Sometimes he takes it away, even amongst the devotees. Sometimes all the devotees, they think, oh, who's this guy? And your reputation, it begins to go down, and then you don't have, but will you still serve Krishna, even if Krishna takes that away? Aishwarya means your wealth. What if Krishna takes away all your wealth? What if he takes everything from you? It's more easy if you're a brahmachari because you don't have much anyway. But then what if he takes your Birkenstocks away from you? Or your Samsonite suitcase? Or your iPhone? What if he takes these things? Because, it's the advantage of being brahmachari. You don't have much anyway, but Krishna might even take those things. And he say, actually, I'm attached. I am attached to my Birkenstocks. Now I have to walk barefoot through the world. I don't have any like that. So sometimes Krishna will take everything. Aishwarya, Shruta, you're learning. Sometimes your brain starts deteriorating and you can't remember. Like I can't remember shlokas sometimes. Like the computer, in a computer, it's trying to access, but it can't reach, can't pull the information in. Sometimes I'm giving class, and I want to quote a verse, and I'm thinking, I know the verse, but I can't bring it. It starts, as you get older, it starts happening. Have you noticed these things? Yeah, sometimes it happens as you get older. And you're like, I can't remember the verse. When I was young, all the verses would come. Shribya, your beauty. You're attached to your beauty, you're attached to your body, your health, but then your health starts going away. Your health, that's why Prabhupada said, health first, then Krishna consciousness. In every letter that Prabhupada writes, at the end, what does he finish with? I hope this meets you in good health. Prabhupada said, health, you have to look after your health, because when you get older, Krishna's going to take that away from you. So you have to look after it. So you've still got it when you go into old age. So you can serve Krishna nicely for many years to come. But Krishna will take all these things away in due course of time. So you have to keep serving it. That's what this pastime is about, Atma Nivedanam. It means I will serve Krishna. I will give my everything to Krishna, even when he starts taking it away. It's actually not so easy. And Krishna will test us. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions or comments in this material world? Mataji. Do we have a microphone? Om. Microphone namaha. Transcendental microphone key. Transcendental batteries key. Jai. It works. Mother Manjari has a question. Let's pass it, Chris. That's it.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for the encouraging class. I just want to understand about the position of Sutala. As you mentioned that it's another name of the polar star.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not wrong, in the 5th canto, when there's the description of the planetary system, Sutala is one of the inferior planetary systems, the 7 ones. So just wanted to understand the positions, maybe I'm wrong, how polar stars can be Sutala, or there is another Sutala with the Patala planets?
Yeah, I was thinking that about 3/4 of the way through the class because I didn't research it fully. So we'll have to go away and research it a little bit better to make sure that everything I said was correct. Because about 3/4 through the class, I started thinking in the back of my mind, I started thinking, I don't know if I've got all this right, actually. So I have to go back and look at the details again, like that. But we'll just have to analyze. But the point is, these personalities are still existing. Prahlad Maharaj is still in this universe. Dhruva Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, they're still existing, like that. So then, but who's where? We have to like look at the details. So I'm sorry, because I just have to go back and look at it more carefully, like that. But yeah, I was thinking actually about 3/4 through the class, I was thinking, oh, wait a minute. So you have to check carefully, like that. But thank you for asking. That's good. Yeah. Transcendental microphone key. Rasikananda.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for a nice class. You were mentioning how the Srila Prabhupada's intention for the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially for the 10th canto, was that we had to categorically read from the 1st to the 9th and then begin the 10th canto. I just want to understand what's the difference between the 10th canto and Krishna book. Because Krishna book is quite detailed in some parts as well, and that is recommended by Prabhupada to distribute that freely to, for Sankirtan. So what's the purpose or intention behind that?
Yeah, it means that, as we said, you can read any book of Prabhupada's. You can read any book. So you can read Krishna book on the first day that you join the temple. There's no problem. The point we're making, Prabhupada says, at some point you have to study everything systematically and carefully. That's why we have Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sava. That's why we have it like that, because it has to be systematic at some point. But in the meantime, you can read, like when I joined, I've been a devotee for about 3 months, and then I met Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He came here. So I had darshan with him. And he said to me, I'd only been devotee 3 months. He said, what are you reading? And I said, I was reading this and that. And he said, I want you to read 5 things at the same time. 5 things. So he said, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, first 150 pages. First canto Bhagavatam. I think Krishna book, Krishna book, and Prabhupada Leelamrita. Like 5 things simultaneously, he said, read that. So it took me a number of years but that's what he gave me, like from the very beginning. So Prabhupada gave us Krishna book, and Prabhupada said you should read Krishna book before you go to bed, because then you will dream of Krishna. No? So that's why we should read these things. So the point is that if you're studying Bhagavatam, at some point you have to go from canto 1 to canto 12. You have to do it like systematically. But in between, you can read Krishna book and you can read like that. Does that answer your question? Thank you for coming. Did you have enough rest? That's good. Thank you for your service. Yes, Mataji. Was that you who was blue at the Rath Yatra? Yeah. I was trying to work it out. I thought, I think I know her. But actually, when we go to Vrindavan for our retreats at Govardhan, sometimes we have drama, lila. And then the devotees, they dress like Krishna or Radharani or like that. And Sachinandan Swami told us that when they dress like that for the lila, the personality enters the person. So I was at Rath Yatra, I was pulling Lord Jagannath's rope, I turned around, Krishna was there. And I thought, I know the person, but I can also feel Krishna is there as well, like Krishna manifest. So I was just, I was trying to work out who it was.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu.
You should dress like that every day. And then when you go to school, just walk in and go to everyone, just go. Okay, what is your question?
You mentioned how Krishna takes everything away from someone to test their sincerity and if they're a devotee or not. What if someone is scared of engaging themselves in like spiritual life because of the fear of the extreme testing phase? How can we encourage them to not lose hope and continue engaging themselves?
Yeah, probably in the beginning, probably don't emphasize that so much. You know, when someone's coming to the Bhakti Vriksha program or whatever it is, and you know, you're preaching to some new person, and you know, if you say from the very beginning, "Oh, Krishna's going to take everything away from you," it's like, yeah, they might not stay. So maybe don't say that in the very beginning. You know, wait till they get initiated, and then say, "Krishna's going to take everything away from you," and then, you know, just wait some time, like that. It's true, it's going to happen, like that. But just don't say it first time. That's good. Any other question? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please come again. Hare Krishna. So today is half-day fast because it is appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj. Do we have a program later? Yeah. Okay, so at 12:30 there'll be Pushpanjali and Aarti, so please come. Hare. 12:30? Okay. Okay. So 12 o'clock there will be bhajan, and then 12:30 we'll do Pushpanjali.